It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon in the small town of Brookhaven, Pennsylvania. I remember sitting by the kitchen window, watching droplets race each other down the glass, when my phone buzzed. It was a text from Ethan Miller, a friend I had known for years but hadn't spoken to much lately. "Hey, Sarah, can we talk? I need to see you." The words seemed heavier than usual. Ethan wasn't the type to reach out unless something was truly bothering him. We'd grown up together. Our families lived 2 houses apart, and I knew him well enough to sense when something wasn't right. He was the kind of person who always tried to hide his problems behind a polite smile, but I could always see through it. I typed back immediately. "Of course. Do you want to come over?" There was a pause before he replied. "Yeah, if that's okay." By the time he arrived, the rain had grown heavier, blurring the edges of the world outside. I opened the door to find him standing there, his hood pulled up, eyes downcast, and shoulders slightly hunched as if the weight of the day was pressing him into the ground. "Hey," I greeted softly, stepping aside to let him in. He gave a small nod and muttered, "Hey," before kicking off his wet sneakers. Even without asking, I knew something was wrong. The tension in his body, the way he avoided my gaze, the faint tremor in his hands. I led him into the living room, where the soft glow of the fireplace offered warmth against the grayness outside. "You want some tea or coffee?" I asked. "Tea's fine," he said quietly. I busied myself in the kitchen, giving him space. Sometimes, people needed a few moments to gather their thoughts before they could talk. When I came back with 2 mugs of steaming chamomile tea, he was sitting on the edge of the couch, his elbows resting on his knees, staring at the floor. I placed the tea on the coffee table and sat down beside him. "Ethan," I said gently, "what's going on?" For a moment, he didn't answer. His jaw clenched, his breathing shallow. Finally, he spoke. "It's my job. I think I'm going to lose it." I blinked. "What? Why?" "You've been at the company for 5 years. They're downsizing," he explained, his voice tight. "I found out yesterday. There's no guarantee yet, but I just have this feeling. And if I lose this job, I don't know how I'm going to manage rent, bills, everything." I could hear the worry in every word. Ethan lived alone, and without his paycheck, his safety net was almost non-existent. I reached over, resting a hand on his arm. "You're not alone in this. We'll figure something out. You've always been resourceful." His lips curved in a humorless smile. "That's easy for you to say. You're doing well." "That doesn't mean I can't help," I replied firmly. For the next hour, we talked, or rather, I listened. Ethan poured out his fears about the future, his frustration over the company's decision, and his anxiety about starting over. I could see how much he'd been bottling this up. The tension in his shoulders slowly eased as he let the words flow. When the tea ran cold, I suggested we do something to take his mind off things, at least for a little while. "You've been sitting in your apartment all day, right?" I asked. "Pretty much," he admitted. "Then let's cook dinner together. My treat. You can be my assistant chef." He chuckled faintly, the first real laugh I'd heard from him all day. "You know I'm terrible in the kitchen." "Perfect," I teased. "I need someone to wash the vegetables and hand me things." We spent the next hour making chicken stir-fry. I gave him small, simple tasks, chopping green onions, rinsing bell peppers, stirring the sauce, and it was amazing how quickly the heaviness in the room lifted. Every now and then, I caught him smiling at something silly I said, and I knew I was chipping away at his worry bit by bit. After dinner, we sat back down in the living room. The rain had eased into a gentle drizzle, and the air felt calmer, lighter. "Sarah," he said after a moment, "I don't know what I'd do without you. I was really drowning in my head earlier, but you made me feel like I could breathe again." I met his gaze and smiled. "That's what friends are for. And you've done the same for me more times than I can count." He hesitated, then added softly, "It's hard for me to ask for help. But today, you made it feel okay." "Ethan," I said, "sometimes we all need someone to remind us we're not alone. You're not weak for feeling this way. And you're not going to face it by yourself." He didn't reply right away, but the gratitude in his eyes said enough. We ended the night watching an old comedy movie, the kind we used to love in high school. There was comfort in the familiarity, in knowing that no matter how chaotic life could get, some things never changed. When he finally left, he looked lighter, his steps less weighed down by fear. Over the next few weeks, I checked in on him regularly. We updated his resume together, practiced interview questions, and I connected him with a friend who worked in his field. Eventually, he landed a new job, one that paid better and offered more stability than the last. The day he called to tell me the news, I could hear the relief in his voice. "I owe you big time," he said. "No," I replied. "You did the work. I just reminded you you could." Sometimes, helping someone isn't about solving all their problems. It's about making them feel safe enough to believe they can handle whatever comes next. That rainy Tuesday had started with Ethan's worry filling the room like a storm cloud, but by the end, the air was clear, and we both knew that no matter what happened, we'd face it together.